If you've ever felt heavily reluctant to pick up the pen, or when you're producing it feels like you're running into a wall, then the likelihood is that you've experienced writer's block. It can be spotted pretty quickly, by noticing that you are avoiding writing through excuses or procrastination, being deeply dissatisfied with anything you write, struggling to stay focused on any writing activity for a considerable amount of time, or just a general, unplanned lull in productivity. Writer's block is the phenomenon that occurs in almost all authors. Despite the name, it isn't just limited to writers, but to most creatives who struggle to come up with new ideas or find it difficult to continue producing their work. Writer's block can be particularly frustrating as it leads to a decrease in productivity and can harm one's confidence in one's own creative ability. More than that, it can sometimes last for years, which obviously isn't ideal when your income might be dependent on what you produce. The affliction wasn't described officially until 1947, but there is considerable evidence that writers and creatives well before then have suffered from mental block too. In fact, it seems obvious that it's always existed as long as creatives have. Famous writers throughout history have struggled too, such as F. Scott Fitzgerald and Herman Melville, as well as musical artists such as Adele, so you can rest assured that you're not alone. Before we dive into looking at solutions to the problem, we should attempt to understand what can cause writer's block so we can prevent it from occurring at all. Off the bat, I want to stress that we're talking about general causes that have been experienced by the majority of writers. Neurologist Alice Flattery has highlighted the tendency for writer's block to occur in people who have suffered physical damage to areas of their brain, as well as those affected by certain neurological diseases. Obviously, I'm not qualified to discuss these issues and propose solutions, so I think I'll leave a link to her work in the description below if you think this would be more useful and relevant to you. So, turning to the more common causes that create writer's block, let's explore exactly why this is an issue for so many of us. An obvious cause for writer's block is being distracted by external factors. It can be very hard to focus on your book or your creative project when life is giving you lots to think about. As people, our mental capacity is limited, so when there's lots going on, diverting energy to intensive exercises such as writing, editing, researching, or being creative can be difficult. It can be even more difficult to engross yourself in the world you've created and enjoy the process without feeling guilty due to neglecting other important things in your life. A second cause that is very common can be pressure. This is more prevalent in professional writers, or those who have set difficult deadlines for themselves, as the pressure to produce to a sufficient quality or quantity can make it hard to be creative. It can create an atmosphere of fear rather than joy around writing and could even push writers into produce something lazy or contrived. This is especially prevalent if you're trying to write in a way that goes against your natural style. Pressure can also take on the form of perfectionism and the desire to produce the next Shakespeare. This pressure can be internal or external, but is nonetheless tough to deal with and creates writer's block. Third, and again quite obvious, is having a lack of inspiration. This can be a hard one to diagnose, especially if you have ideas but are struggling to formulate or articulate them. Or perhaps you're not sure how to organize all your fragmented ideas into a narrative and can't follow where the story is going. Stale ideas, however, are just as much of a problem as a lack of original ones. You need new avenues to explore and different approaches in order to keep those creative juices flowing. So, if your environment or lifestyle has become monotonous, then you're at quite a high risk of suffering from writer's block. Right, if you're still with me at this point and have identified your own issues within at least one of those causes, let's look at a few solutions to fix this problem, or at least mitigate its effects. First of all, taking a break is the easiest and generally the most efficient way of removing writer's block. Having some time away from the story you're writing or the process that you're engaged with can help you reorientate yourself, find new inspiration, and take stock of what you've got so far. When you take a break, you are allowing yourself some room to breathe, taking the pressure off yourself. The effects of this can be noticeable, especially as this is a choice you take, so there is little reason to feel guilty for neglecting your work. It also allows you the room to set any distractions in order and return to writing with a clear mind. Secondly, getting out and about is something that I've advocated since the start of this channel, and it's easily been the most effective method for me. If you're contained within the same space, breathing the same air and speaking with the same people, your creative ability is going to suffer, as the new ideas and inspirations you're exposed to will dwindle. Get out and see the world. have new experiences, and come back with a better perspective for writing. I've done my best thinking on my feet, not being behind my desk, and it's something that has been practiced by many others with great results too. Patricia Huston did some great research on removing writer's block, and one of the most effective techniques that she found was breaking your work into pieces to make it more manageable. Often your writing can feel bigger than you and bigger than the project you're trying to contribute to, so breaking it apart can make it more approachable, and was shown to produce greater quality of work. Patricia also found that varying your routine, such as your time of writing, your writing location, or even doing meditation, can help refocus a writer's brain to make their work more productive. Her research is in the description below if you're interested in finding out more. A final technique that I've been experimenting with recently is to free write. This means to do just that. Write freely. Write on any topic, free of expectations, limitations, or perfections. Take some time to stop caring about your grammar or accuracy or literary devices or character development and just write. It may not sound super productive, but I found that doing this for 5 or just 10 minutes a week helps me feel more relaxed when I return to my own book and takes quite a bit of the weight off my shoulders. So those are just some of the causes and solutions for writer's block. If you have any others, please leave them down in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing the video with your friends. Thank you.